Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm talking about natal moon in conjunct or quincunx to Saturn and how this one manifests. I have this one in my natal chart, so this will be fun to talk about. Um, so with in conjunctions to the moon or quincunxes to the moon, there is a lot of emotional insecurity. And I don't just mean insecurity in the sense of like self love or self worth. Like, it's more like insecurity in like the basic like foundations of life. So it can be around home life, it can be like the inner child is very insecure. So something has happened in childhood that has created where there should have been a sense of safety or like groundedness in the home life. There's this like insecure feeling, this feeling of like you can't quite put your finger on it because the inconjunct aspect is very much like unconscious. Like it's hard for you to figure out that it's going on, but it's like this vague feeling of like discomfort and feeling like something is off somewhere, but we can't quite figure out what it is. So when it's moon to Saturn, we have our emotional needs are what makes us feel emotionally fulfilled, and our like emotional reactions, how we instinctively react in the moment when we are feeling emotional, um, being constantly hit by Saturn in this weird awkward angle. So Saturn is the planet of karma. It's where we feel like we must do the work associated with Saturn, but it also is extremely hard and challenging. And it's like where we struggle, but where we eventually end up gaining mastery. So when this is quincunx to the moon, there is this feeling of like every time we start to get some emotional stability or fulfillment, that Saturn is there being like, nope, wrong, bad. What are you doing enjoying yourself? You better go get to work. There's so many tasks to do. There's so much that you still have to work on. Or often with this quincunx, there is like a debt or someone to look after, like in the family that is sickly or like elderly, or there's this sense of burden from the family, from the early upbringing, or in the home life. So it could just be that, like, there's stuff around the house that is always breaking down and you feel like you have to fix it. And there's like it's as soon as you start to like feel comfort and security in your home, then something breaks down and you need to get a repair, or maybe you can't ever truly feel at home. Maybe you're constantly moving, or there's things happening in the home that are constantly bringing burden and insecurity. Or it could be, someone that you live with. Like I said, it could be like this is quincunx is characteristic of, constantly needing to take care of a family member, like a parent, or quite likely, and this can be with other moon Saturn aspects too, but specifically the quincunx, the child feels older than the parent and has to exert some form of like parental structure or dominance, like over the parent. And that's obviously not comfortable for a child to do. And so, and it might not be just with a parent, it could be with another sibling, it could be with their friends, or it's like the moon Saturn person feels this duty to like have to parent other people. And on the positive side, they can seem very mature. This is someone who, when they're quite young, takes on a lot of responsibility or duty around the home. And like, oh, okay, so that's one manifestation of it. That they end up kind of being like this parental role to others, and they not are not doing that out of like joy, but out of obligation and feeling like that the environment needs them to be like that. Otherwise, it'll just be like total chaos. And if they don't act like that, if they don't, have that strong Saturn hand over their reality, then everything is going to just go to chaos and be like this mess. And so that can give a lot of insecurity. We'll talk about the positives of this too, because there definitely are positives, but it is, in a sense, a very difficult in conjunction because the emotional expression is often hindered or blocked by responsibilities and duties and things that the person feels like they have to do or they need to do. And it's like they can feel like they constantly have to put happiness or put fulfillment emotionally on the back burner while they focus on these other burdening duties that they have. And you'll distinctly see this play out with the houses and the sign placements of the moon and Saturn, where it's like they can't quite be both at the same time. And like they have to uh they try to like this is all happening unconsciously too. They try to like shut one down so they can express the other. And so what can happen is when they do finally get happy and they experience fulfillment, they experience security in the home, something will happen externally or with someone around them in their environment, in the home environment, that causes their peace to be very short lived. And you can see it like maybe it's coming from like if you've got like a planet in the 12th house, like this is mine. So something unconscious like will come and like wreck the vibe, and like it'll be just this like out of control thing. Or if you've got like something in the first house in conjunct to something, then it's like, a self appearance block or physical block. Or if it's sixth house, it could be a health block, or it will just come and like uh shake the foundation or stability that is already so shaky to begin with this in conjunction. So it's a very insecure placement. Because of the insecurity, they can actually end up appearing very controlling, very Capricornian, almost like a Capricorn moon, like not wanting anything to go out of order, OCD, being very clean, very, trying to really just keep everything in line and controlled. On the positive side, there's a great responsibility. There's a very sober, realistic, grounded energy in dealing with life where, this is going to be a person who's like on time. This is going to be a person who has like prepared everything and thought like it can really be a grounding influence in the chart that they end up being quite responsible, like I said, from a very young age and appearing older than they are, having to parent those around or care for those around them. So that can end up being a very good thing. These people can end up being, yeah, just extremely reliable, even successful, because they can definitely prioritize work over emotional fulfillment. They can definitely be slaving away for others, and really needing to take the time to care for the self without guilt, because that's what will often happen with a quincunx of Moon Saturn is like when they do what they need to do to feel emotionally stable and fulfilled, then there's extreme guilt because they're not doing enough for others or they're not taking care of all these things that are burdening them. And like when they take a break, they can feel extreme guilt, often more so with Moon Saturn opposition, but even with the quincunx. When they do take a break, other people will kind of come at them and be like, you're lazy, or what are you doing? Like it's hard for them to have a break and have rest, but it's absolutely crucial that they do, or there will be health problems. The quincunx is an aspect very commonly noted that can produce health problems because it's like emotions lingering under the surface, pushed down, and like when you're not allowing yourself to really express both sides of this in proper unison, which is extremely difficult to do, it can cause health problems. And the health problems here will be caused by like a depressive attitude or like I'm so burdened attitude, or I'm so drowning in all this stuff that I have to do. And like it can be really lacking joy. So then the heart can shut down, which can cause all sorts of ailments and things like that. So, on the positive side, and what is like the ultimate message? What do you actually need with this in conjunction? It's it's difficult because on the one hand, there's another manifestation of this where you can completely avoid all the responsibilities, and then you can see someone who is actually very selfish and very self-absorbed, very much not grounded in reality when they're like totally leaning on the moon end. Like it's like there needs to be a balance between responsibility and emotions, and tending to the inner self and tending to the external realities. We need to strike a balance here, right? And being in some sort of service work where you are nurturing others, you are helping others, you are like, but in a way where there's strong boundaries in place. So it's like, these are the hours that I work, and I don't work any other hours, or and I don't work overtime, like structuring that, right? Or with certain tasks like around the house or these burdens, really going within and being like, okay, do I actually need to be the one doing everything? Or can I outsource some of these responsibilities so that I can have more joy and fulfillment in my life? That is something that they need to do, is like, okay, look at everything in your life. Do I really need to be doing all of these things? And some of them will be necessary. Some of them are things that are absolute needed tasks, right? But some of these things that the Moon Saturn Quincunx person feels they need to do could actually be outsourced, and maybe they just need to trust that other people can do some things for themselves. Like there can be a bit of like an overbearing kind of parental influence with this in conjunction, where it's like, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself, kind of thing. But what if you could find the perfect people to outsource some of these tasks to around the house, or these things that are burdening you, and then that can free up some of your energy so that you can have health, so that you can have fulfillment, so that you can have true peace. Like that is absolutely crucial and necessary, and having enough self-worth to do that, right? And recognizing that self-worth doesn't come from how much you do, or how much you accomplish, or how much everybody is happy at you, or happy that you're doing all this stuff. Like, that's not where true self-worth comes from. Self-worth comes from within, and having that inner serenity, security, recognizing that inner security. It's not going to come from accomplishing all these menial tasks. It's going to come from accomplishing the ones that truly make you happy from your heart and soul. And priorities is something really crucial with this in conjunction. Prioritizing what will really light you up and bring you fulfillment, giving yourself the time to do that. Because with Moon Saturn in any hard aspect, but especially the Quincunx, it's like there's never enough time to do all the stuff you need to do. So you have to prioritize the stuff that is going to make you healthy, that's going to make you happy, and that can serve others. There's a way to have both. Scarcity consciousness needs to be removed from the brain and the being with this Quincunx. And recognizing that it doesn't have to be the way that it's always been. Whatever happened in childhood, whatever energy, whatever burden and sorrow you had to deal with, this doesn't have to continue your whole life. You are the creator of your life now. You are the creator of your emotional state. Okay? It's a new timeline. It's a new day. You can choose to be new. You can choose to be different. And, you may need to do some sort of unconscious healing work to really remove the voice of Saturn when you're trying to just relax and have some peace. That might take some inner healing, because there's a lot of unconscious blocks in that. And, it's likely coming from the family line. It's likely coming from the mother line. It's likely a genetic inherited belief of always needing to be working, always needing to be doing something, never relaxing, never calming down. It's from the female side of your lineage. You may have to clear that out to be able to get some peace and joy, but it is possible, and there are many benefits to this conjunction, or sorry, this in conjunction. because it's so awkward and it's so difficult to balance that you end up being like extremely compassionate of other people's suffering and struggling, especially emotionally. So this is great for like healing professions, counseling, one-on-one work with people, because it's like, yeah, there's a great ability to emphasize with people that have gone through suffering and struggling, and there's a real gift for that. So yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this quincunx or this inconjunct. If you have it in your natal chart, let me know. And thanks so much for watching, you guys. Love you guys. Okay, bye.